Peace everyone, Unmasked here, and welcome back to the Drawing Journal. Today I am playing with some pastel pencils and doing a pastel figure. I've actually been working on this for a while, as I think I showed this last week for the Drawing Journal a little bit. I showed it for a few seconds or whatnot, but it's been by far the most challenging subject that I've attempted to do with pastels, simply because of the amount of skin and the complexity of the shadows. It was definitely, so far it has been like just a fantastic practice piece for me. A lot of the things that I've been drawing for, like, I don't know, the past couple years have not been like the scale of challenge that is required for me to like sharpen my skills. A lot of it has just been kind of like repetitive, do the same thing over and over for like the sake of tutorials. And this subject is probably like the pinnacle of my skills. So I have to sometimes just draw what what is an absolute challenge for me to do. So that's kind of where I'm at with this project. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Mine was forgetful. I've been watching this Netflix TV show called Travelers. It's somewhat interesting. It's entertaining enough to watch. Anyways, I'm going to do a little bit of coloring here. I'm even testing out a couple of my new Faber-Castell pencils. I have got so many pastel pencils now, it's just crazy. And I look forward to doing a review comparison of all the pencils that I have. I have the Caran d'Ache, the Faber-Castell, the Derwent, and the Carbothellos. I've been using the Carbothellos for quite some time now, and they're the pastel pencils that I've always recommended. But I really like these Pitt pencils. I'm only using 2 in this figure drawing here, because they're just really nice, neutral, kind of skin tone-ish colors. And so I've been using these. It's 132 and 189, and they work really, really well for like base skin tone colors. And yeah. Hello, Monica, Pumpkin Spice, Barbara, Lindy, Matthew, and Rob. Good to see everyone. I know a lot of people are celebrating Christmas Eve today, so I wasn't really expecting a whole lot of people coming to today's live stream, but hopefully a few people will show up. So I appreciate you guys coming. I don't celebrate any of the holidays during this time of the year, so for me it's just Monday. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad you like the way that this picture is coming out. I've spent a lot of time on this off camera because it was something that I was just working on. I started it a couple weeks ago, I think, or last Saturday, so maybe just a week ago. I think I started it last Saturday, and I just scribbled the background. The background for this piece is nothing even remotely special. I just kind of scribbled down some red, and then I did the shirt first, and that's where I started. And I mean, the background and the shirt I did all last Saturday, and it only took me maybe 2 hours, I think, somewhere around that time frame. I didn't spend a lot of time on it because I wanted to get to what was going to be a lot more difficult than I anticipated. which was the butt. I spent about 4.5 hours on just the butt. It's a remarkably difficult thing to accurately shade and color. It was nothing shy of a challenge. I just have to reiterate that. This drawing overall, or painting, however you want to refer to pastels, has been immensely challenging, and I can't even tell you how long I've spent on the back, and I'm still not satisfied with it. The shadows and the anatomy going on in the shoulder blades, I'm pretty satisfied with this section here, the small of the back, but like this right shoulder blade, I'm not 100% satisfied with. I spent like 6 hours on just this arm, and getting the skin on the elbow to look correct, and the color and the lighting and everything. I really liked this pose for the subject. You know, I don't like to do very suggestive drawings. I don't see the point in it. But figures are what I like to do. They're one of my favorite subjects by far. And so I really liked this pose and composition of the photograph. And so I thought I'd give it a try with the pastels, because I haven't done a figure in pastels before. I've done colored pencils and graphite and stuff like that, but never pastels. So I figured I'd give it a try, and I didn't anticipate the level of difficulty that it was actually going to be. And I was pleasantly surprised, actually, by just how difficult the subject was to get with pastels, because that's what I enjoy the most when I'm creating. I like to seek out those challenging projects that I try to accomplish, because that's how you get better. You know, that's where I'm at in my growth as an artist, and I need to find subjects that present a unique and a difficult challenge in order for me to progress as an artist as well. Because a lot of the things I do tutorials on, obviously I'm not doing a tutorial on this. I'm definitely not comfortable doing a tutorial on something like this, because I wouldn't know where to begin. It's been all experimentation throughout this entire process so far. So all of the other subjects that I do tutorials on, I feel relatively comfortable doing that, because I find the subjects to be rather simple in nature. And so when I draw for just my own pastime, my own enjoyment and progression, I have to find something that challenges me. And figures, nothing challenges me more than the human form. So the subtlety of the color changes that your eye has to be able to pick up, because I have these two toning colors that I've been using throughout this picture here. I've been using this super bright red and this rather bright purple Carbothello pencils, and I've used a ton of the purple, probably more so than the red, but you can see, hopefully, maybe you can see, but I have a lot of the purple in the back here, in these these transitions. I also have this, it's rather bright orange. It's kind of a toned down, more neutral orange, but I have a lot of this in the skin as well. And I used a lot of the red on this side of the arm, And like I said, I'm actually not 100% on this arm. I still kind of, every time I look at it, I just feel like there's something off about it, and I can't quite figure out what it is. Yeah, that doesn't happen too often. But when I look at this arm, and I look at my reference photo, I just can't see what I'm doing wrong. And that's what makes this subject so challenging. I haven't yet done this arm. I've only sketched in some of the colors, but I'm trying to get this shoulder blade correct still as well. Oh, hello, Lily. What kind of sharpener am I using? Oh, that's actually a really great question. You can see that my pastel pencils are sharpened like beautifully. The points on them are just amazing. And I just recently bought a new electric sharpener, and I'm testing it out. So it's been almost 2 weeks that I've been using it, and I'm not sharing the name yet until I know that it works, like for a certain period of time, because I had one sharpener that I was recommending for some time, and it just stopped working. And then when I realized, okay, I can't sharpen anything with it, not even good colored pencils. It doesn't even sharpen my luminance colored pencils, which is just absurd. Those pencils are the easiest to sharpen. And so I realized that it doesn't sell replacement blades, so I'm not recommending that sharpener anymore. But it worked for a good amount of time, and I was recommending it the entire time. So now I have to like go back on my word for recommending that sharpener, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm not going to tell you what sharpener I'm using until I know that it works really well for a period of time. I do know that it has replacement blades, and I've bought several of them for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'll share the name of the sharpener in due time when I've made sure that it is reliable enough to recommend it to people. Oh, hey Cece, good to see you. Oh goodness, that FaceTime yesterday. Yesterday was my niece's birthday, and my sister Cece called me on Facebook, and I was in the kitchen making some food, and I hit this one of the video filters, those new Facebook video filters, and it made my face like really sad looking. It like made my mouth really big and sad looking, and I couldn't figure out how to shut it off. And we were all like laughing to death on the video chat last night, and I swear to you, like tears were just running down my face. It was just the funniest thing imaginable, because I couldn't figure out how to shut the video filter off, and so I was sitting there talking to them. I was like, I can't figure out how to shut it off, but my face looked super weird and hilarious, and we couldn't even talk because we were laughing so much. It was great. And then they turned they were playing with the video filters, and my nephew Cade, he's just a little baby, they turned the same filter on that made his eyes like really big, and then his mouth was really big and frowny. And gosh, it was just absurdly funny. I almost burnt my food because I was laughing so much I couldn't concentrate on cooking. And I had to blow my nose, and tears were just coming down my face like crazy because I was laughing so hard. It was a wonderful moment. Yeah. It was great. It was great. What pencil extenders do I use? I use the cheapest ones possible. I got these super ridiculously cheap wooden ones off Amazon, I think, for like $3 for like a pack of 10. They are ridiculously cheap. They have very low quality. I think even some of them the metal will pull off. However, it doesn't bother me at all because they do exactly what I need them to do. They extend my pencil, and I don't need fancy metal ones or anything like that. Those ones I would definitely buy again because they work just the way that I want them to. The downside is that you know, sometimes you can use a pencil extender and still be able to sharpen your pencil. You can't with these ones. You'd have to take the pencil out and actually be able to grip the pencil, but by the time a pencil gets short enough to really have to use a pencil extender, you're usually having to sharpen by hand anyway. Oh, hello, Jeff and Mark. New to pastel pencils. I use the Canson 160 pad, struggling to get the white to highlight on top. You need rougher paper. Yeah, you do. Yeah. I would recommend Pastelmat, or if you want to stick with Canson paper, you can get the Canson Mitenta Touch, which is a gessoed paper. And that paper will give you a lot more texture to do what you need to do with your white highlights. Oh, if I didn't mention this, this coloring process that I'm going through right now with this figure here, it takes a long time. So don't expect me to get too far today. I won't finish it. Even though I only have like what looks like just the hair to fill in, I would be surprised if I even get to fill the hair in today, because this has been a painstaking process, because I'm trying to get it to look as real or as close to the reference photo as I possibly can, and I'm being very finicky for detail and color. I'm trying to match the colors perfectly, and so don't really expect me to get past this arm. Like I said, I spent like 6 hours on just the left arm, so this arm here is going to take a while. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Oh no, the shadows on the back, I can assure you the shadows are like spot on in terms of value, because the light source coming from the right side here is casting a drop shadow from this arm across the back like this, and then this is just the shadow from the back itself. There's two light sources. That's what creates this weird shadow in the middle of the arm, is that there's a primary light source on the right and a secondary, probably reflective. It might not even be a light, it might just be a reflective panel that is causing the light source from the left side. So there's two lights, so you get this like crisscross of shadows from the arm, and you get this this shadow down the center of the arms because two light sources are hitting like this. It's rather odd light setup for this type of picture, but I really liked the way the shadows dropped across the back in this picture because it just looked impossible to draw. when I saw that's what this part of the drawing is what appealed to me the most, is the insanity of trying to replicate those shadows accurately and then make them look natural. Like, but right now, what I think this picture needs is hair. And if I color in the hair, I think that most likely the picture will start to look more even with its values, because the hair kind of throws it off right now. But yeah, I can assure you, nothing is too dark in this picture. In fact, it might even still be too light. Oh, hello, Yasem from Iran. That's cool. Not too many Iranian fans that I'm aware of. Always nice to have a new new fan, different country. Okay, let's see here. These shadows down the center of the arm, the color, it's like a purple brown. I don't have any other way to describe the color of the shadow. It's just a purple brown, and I just cannot get like the right mixture of brown and purple. I have this color here, the 642 Carbothello pencil that I absolutely love, and it's got a nice purple. It's like a purple gray, but it's just off a little bit. It just doesn't have enough orange in it, and trying to mix the colors to get the right amount of orange and everything into the shadows of the arm is just, oh gosh, it's such a headache. I don't want to work on the left arm today. I want to try to get a little bit ahead on the right arm over here, so I can get, you know, so I can feel like I accomplished something today. But I'll probably be working on this for a few more hours at least, off camera. I'll have it done by next Monday for sure, because it's been hard to not just work on it in any spare moment that I have. But I was afraid that if I started working on it this weekend, I wouldn't have anything to draw on today for the drawing journal. So I refrained, kept looking at it because I have it next to my desk all the time. Jasem. Oh, okay. Sorry. What did I say? Yasem? Yeah. I'm used to the J's in Polish. Sorry. Oh, you know what? I wanted to mention something really quick. I got this lovely card in the mail, and it's from one of my first Patreon students that I had, and her name's Christine. I didn't see her in the chat. Maybe she's there, but yeah, she made these cards out of some of her pastel work that she did. And from what I understand, she was selling her cards and completely sold out. So it was really, really cool to hear that she had such success selling them, which I am not surprised. They're very, very nice. And so she sent me this lovely card. So I just wanted to say thank you for that on the live stream today. And I also wanted to mention that I linked her Facebook page in the description. So if you would like, check out the description and go over to White Clover Studio over on Facebook and give it a thumbs up for me, or for her, I should say. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for the card. My wife and I really liked it. So make sure you guys go check her work out. She does, she takes on commissions at a much more affordable price than what I offer. So if you want to get your pet drawn or something like that, I'm sure she'd be happy to get your patronage. So I know many of you already know Christine, so I just needed to share that really quick before I forgot. New to your site, love it, from Lancaster. Leicester? I don't know how to pronounce that city. Yeah, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. You have a lovely Christmas and New Year's and all of that. What happened to the scenery that I'm painting the other day? Oh, so that is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the finished part 2 of the winter landscape pastel painting. Yes. Oh, hello, Vinyak. What type of lighting do I use for drawing and painting? I use, what are these called? I use these LED lights that are actually just USB powered. I got a pair of them off Amazon, super cheap. I think they were like $15 or $20 each. Maybe? I don't know. They might have been cheaper than that. I don't quite remember. But there are these LED GIE. That's the sticker on them. And like I said, they're powered by USB. And they clamped to my desk. And they have a flexible neck that lets me move them. And they're nice and like neutral light. They're not yellow. They're not too cold. They're a little bit colder since they're LED lights, but they're not warm, which you don't want to draw under yellow lights. That's not good. And they've been working really well so far. I'm always constantly like looking for better lights, but I won't be changing these lights out. I have 2 of them, by the way. I have one on the right and one on the left. That way I can, you know, move them and prevent harsh shadows when I'm doing these live streams. Leicester. Oh, okay, thanks. Yes, I am streaming tomorrow. Like I had briefly mentioned earlier in the stream, today and tomorrow is just another Monday and Tuesday for me. I don't celebrate any holidays during this time of the year. Well, New Year's. I mean, I stand on my balcony. I watch everybody else celebrating New Year's. It's hard to miss here in Poland because the whole country sets off fireworks, and it's impossible to not appreciate all the fireworks going off. I've posted several videos of it. It's pretty cool. Please do the hair. It makes me crazy over here. Okay. I'll fill it in. All right, I'll fill it in. I'm just going to use. See, that's the thing. I don't want to just fill it in. That's the problem. Because if I just fill it in, then it's not going to look. I'll just use a dark brown, I guess. I'll use a dark brown. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to leave it for now. I don't want to. I see. It's. I want to make sure that I get this line on surrounding the face and the lips and stuff. I need to get that perfectly, and I need to get my face like right up next to the paper, and I need to work really delicately. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'll finish this coming week or whatnot, and I'll show you I'll take a picture of it and post it on Facebook or whatever. I just can't. I just can't bring myself to do the hair right now. I considered doing it this past weekend, but I just yeah, I needed something to do today, and I don't know, maybe I can zoom in. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll fill in the hair. Okay, I'll do it. I need my sharpener. I wasn't prepared for this. Because I need to sharpen the tip. This tip is not quite where I need it, and I don't need to use a pencil sharpener. I just need to use my sandpaper to get a nice sharp tip on it. Alright, that should be good enough, and I'll try to keep my head out of the camera the best I can. This has me nervous. Wasn't prepared for this. So greedy. I need like a magnifying glass to see from this distance as clear as I want to see. Oh, hello, Iris. It's good to see you. Maybe I'll just leave a tiny little gap there. Tiniest little gap between the skin and the hair. I'm like barely touching the paper. I can finally watch your stream without the boss looking over my shoulder. Yeah, that's great. Oh, hello, Talia. Good to see you. Yeah, I need to get the shape of this nose like perfect, and it's really difficult from this distance because this is rather small drawing. I need to indent whiskers for colored pencils. Do I need to erase my graphite first? No, you don't need to. if you're indenting the paper for whiskers, your graphite's not going to get in the way. You can just go for it. There won't be an issue with the graphite. I think the face was the last thing that I really worked on before today, which I think was maybe Friday. Maybe Friday I started putting in the face, and it was a bit of a challenge with how small it is, because you can see, like, here's my finger, like the face, all of those details on the face are just, you know, they fit in the end of my thumb, which isn't the easiest thing to do. But with pastel pencils, like what I've been learning with this drawing here is that with pastel pencils, you have so much like space on top of the paper to lay colors. It's just remarkable, and it just blows me away every time. And when you get to later stages of a drawing with pastel pencils, you blend with the pencils themselves. So you can, unlike colored pencils, when you're using colored pencils and you go like really lightly on the paper, what you get is the cracks of the paper, the texture of the paper, where it's lower, you get those white speckles, and then you get a little bit of the color on top, and it's all crumbly and weird. But when you get to the later stages on Pastelmat with the pencils, you don't get that grainy texture. Instead you get kind of like a powder that you can gently push around, and if you're delicate enough with the touch of your pencil, you don't have to use any tools for blending. You can literally just use the pencil itself, and slowly you build up a little bit of powder, and I usually just blow away the very small amount of excess powder that I generate on top of the paper. And it's been a fun learning process with this piece here. I'm getting much more confident with the application of the pencils and how far I can go like dark and then lighten it back up, and also like feathering edges and blending. I'm just finding it much more much easier of a process now that I've done something as complex and as difficult as this drawing here with the pencils. I can just find like a neutral color and sketch it in almost haphazardly, and then just come over it with my blending colors and tone everything exactly the way that I want it to appear. And I use this blending stump here quite a bit with the pastel pencils. It's one of my favorite tools, and you know that came with the set of Carbothello pencils. And when I first was trying it out, like in the beginning when I first started using the pastel pencils, I was like, I don't really like this tool. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just kind of pushing the colors around, and it's it doesn't seem to be working the way that I want it to work. But then I found that then I found the way that it works, at least the way that it works for me. The blending stump is a bit harsher, and it does like move the dust or the pastel from the paper. It like lifts it off the paper, and it kind of scrapes it almost. But if you put enough layers down, eventually you gain a more control with the blending stump. So the more layers you put down, the more control you get with that tool. And then the same thing with the small like makeup applicator type tool. I have one in here. So this little makeup applicator tool here, one of these also comes with the set of the Carbothellos, and that tool I've actually grown to not like as much as the blending stump, which in the beginning I actually just kind of straight up liked it. I actually preferred that tool. I thought it was better, but now I'm not so sure that's the one that I like. There, that's all the color that I'm going to add to the hair. For now, I'm not doing the hair. You're not convincing me. I'm filling it in, and that is it. I'm not doing any of the details, none of the flyaways, none of it. Sorry if I was missing any of your questions. The way you blend the skin color is ridiculous. It's crazy realistic. Kind of hate you. Well, I'm glad that I'm glad you feel that way, Iris. I really am, because I have to say that the skin was very, very difficult in the beginning, because in the beginning I started on the butt because it was like I thought it was going to be the easiest. Seriously, I thought that the butt was going to be the easiest, and I was mistaken, because there is so much subtlety involved in the skin tones in this in the picture, in the reference photo, that I was going back and forth. I was like applying a color, and I was like, that looks too dark, and then I'd lighten it back up, and I was like, well, now the highlight is way too big, and I was like going back and forth constantly for like 6-7 straight hours trying to balance out the correct colors and the correct values, and getting all of that to look the way that I have it now. My goal is to get the entire drawing as nice as I made the butt look. And here's the butt. There's like a lot of purple here that I used. I used a ton of this purple color right here, because like I said, there's two light sources in this picture. There's a light source coming from the right and a secondary from the left, and that's what is creating this this shadow down the center of the arms. Well, you get those same shadows on this left butt cheek here, and it was a nightmare to get to that level of precision, and I was really going for the absolute most realistic possible effect with the skin in this drawing here, because that's what the challenge was for me. Now I'm just scribbling in the hair really quick so that there's no more white paper showing. Oh, thank you, Mache. Appreciate that. Back now. Can you do a water-themed piece soon? I've noticed you haven't done many, and I need help with its look. Well, actually, the pastel painting that I'm doing tomorrow, the bottom half of it is all water. But could you be a bit more specific on what you're referring to as water-themed? Because it's just going to be like a lake or whatever that's reflecting the mountains and the trees and stuff. Your hard work really paid off. Thought it was a photo when I first opened the stream. Well, that's good. We'll see if it gets flagged on Instagram when I post it. I'll put the pencils around it and stuff to make sure that it's not confused as a photograph. Because you're allowed to post stuff like this on Instagram if it's a drawing, but if it's like a picture of you, then not so much. I'm not sure if butt cracks are allowed. I never looked up the rule there. But I have several figure drawings on my Instagram, so none of those have been flagged. Although today's live stream was actually here on YouTube. It was today's live stream was demonetized before I even live streamed it. I had just noticed that it was demonetized just before going live, and I think that's a load of crap. That is a big load of crap. You know, I know that not everybody on my channel, not all my subscribers probably appreciate some of my figure drawings as much as others do, and I can understand that. I mean, some people might not understand why I choose to do such types of drawings, and the reality is, or at least the way that I think about it, is that we all have a very, you know, unique set of interests, and you know, sometimes you like football, sometimes you like other sports or whatnot. You know, sometimes you like swimming, whatever it is. You don't let people dictate what you're interested in, and I've always been fascinated by like the old masters that used to do figure paintings in oil and stuff like that, and I've always been, no pun intended, I've always been drawn to figure work and the human form. And for me, as an artist, I find it personally to be the absolute most difficult subject for me to recreate, whether it's painting it or drawing it. And I have to do what I find challenging when it comes to being an artist. There's no subject that is more appealing to me than a subject that challenges me the most. And the human form challenges me more than any subject that I've ever come across. And sometimes I just have to break away from the normal tutorial stuff that I do on my channel to do something that I feel challenges me to a whole new level. And this drawing here has done that. And they always do. Doing figures has always been a unique degree of a challenge, and when I work on them, I never lose my patience like I do with the tutorial pieces. I could just sit here and work on it endlessly until I feel like I've gotten it to the best place that I can get it. But don't take my words as justification for my drawing. I'm not justifying it to anybody, because art is nothing short of free speech, and I will draw as I want, and just as I'll say what I want. So I'll never apologize. Oh, thank you so much, Rob, for the super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Oh, hello, Ellie. Okay, so something with like a running stream, trees, reflection. Okay, all right, Mark. I like that idea. I will try to. So for, well, actually, are you looking for pastel tutorial? Or are you looking for a colored pencil? Or are you just looking for anything that has water reflection with trees and things like that? What does it mean, demonetized? Oh, it just means that I won't make money through YouTube for people viewing it, because they won't run ads. No ads will be ran on the video. Because it will say that it's not suitable for all advertisers or whatever stupidness they come up with. In the long run, it doesn't really affect me all that much, because I don't make much from YouTube AdSense anyway, through the ad revenue stuff, because I don't really get that kind of viewership. But the drawing journals, you know, I do the drawing journals for many reasons, but the main reason that I started doing the drawing journal is just to have conversations with all of my amazing subscribers and answer whatever questions you guys have and get your feedback on the direction that I'm taking my channel and stuff. Pastel pencil tutorial. Oh, okay. Well, Mark, I would have to direct you over to my Patreon page for all future pastel tutorials, like the one that I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow will actually be the last pastel tutorial for YouTube. The future ones will be streamed on Patreon. So if for $5 a month on Patreon, you'll have access to all of those tutorials and all the future tutorials that I've done. But I like the suggestion, so that will most likely very well be the very first pastel tutorial that I do for the new year. So I've noticed a really good, a healthy uptick of new patrons since I announced that all the pastel tutorials will be moved to Patreon. So I think that the announcement was taken rather well, and I appreciate all the new patrons that I've gotten over the past couple weeks. It's been really great. Alright, the hair is filled in. It's nowhere near completion, but it does look a bit better. It's not as dark as it needs to be, just one layer of brown. Some of the paper is still showing through, but I want to try to get a little bit more done on this arm. Try to do a little bit more on this arm. Let's see. The shadow is not quite as dark as I need it to be. It needs to be a little bit darker, I think. And brown. A little bit darker and a little bit brown. It's like a brownish, purplish. I don't even know how to describe that color. It's like a dark clay. The problem that I've been having with these arms so much is actually the light color. The transition between this shadow and the light color, oh my gosh, it has been giving me the biggest headache imaginable, because I cannot get that transition. It's just, there's something about it. I just can't figure out the colors that I need to get that transition. Cannot figure it out for the life of me. It's been driving me absolutely crazy. Oh, thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. What book am I reading? Actually, right now, I'm not reading any book. My wife and we just finished, what was it? I want to say Angels and Demons, I think. We've been reading all the Dan Brown books, and we're going to be moving on to the next one probably soon. But we needed a little bit of break because we read a lot of them in the past few months, and I don't know, his work has gotten a bit repetitive. It's still good books, but just a bit repetitive. Maybe we need to change it up and do something, read something else. I don't know, maybe starting the I can't even think of the title. Game of Thrones. Maybe start reading the Game of Thrones book. I think that would probably be a relatively good idea, because I am really anticipating the show coming back on next year. Dying for it to come back on. Aren't some music videos on YouTube more obscene than the female figure on a drawing? Oh yeah, yeah. Yep, totally agree. I missed that question. Smoke, please? What? A Song of Ice and Fire. That's been on my to-read list for the past 3 years. let's see here. I'm gonna add some nice red tones into the skin now. And I'm like, I cannot emphasize enough the degree of delicacy in which I am touching the paper with this red pencil. You know what I just realized is the outer edge of this arm is actually quite a bit darker. And then I have this bright highlight kind of running down here. So I need to fix that. Your detail and realism is remarkable on this, and it's awesome to have the opportunity to watch you work. Oh, well, thank you, Sneaks. I appreciate that. Oh, that sounds fun, Iris. Yeah, when I first tried to watch Game of Thrones, I couldn't. I barely got through the first season, and I only made it a couple episodes into the second season before I gave up. And it's because it just took like a really long time to get connected to the characters, and the build-up in the first two seasons was kind of slow, and so I didn't watch it for many years. I watched those the first season and the couple episodes of the second season, and I gave up on it for a long time. And then my wife and I were looking for something to watch, and I was like, you know what, let's give Game of Thrones a try. You know, why? Let's just go for it. Let's see, you know, if we can make it through, and see if it ever gets any better. And oh man, it was worth it. It was worth it. If you can get through, I needed to get through like maybe one more episode on season 2 before I was completely hooked. But actually the second time watching it around, or the second time around trying to watch it was actually just what I needed to get through it. Because even the first season was more compelling the second attempt through it. Yeah, I avoided Game of Thrones for the complete opposite reason. I'm pretty hooked on this new Netflix show that I've been watching the past couple days, called Travelers. It's got some good parts in it, and then it's got some other bits that you're like, oh my good god, just get on with it. But the acting is pretty good. The characters are enjoyable. And it's a fun story. Essentially what it is, if you've never heard of it, is that it's about like a couple hundred years from now, like this time frame, to the 21st century to save the world, because like it's like most of the humans are dead in a few hundred years or whatever, and they developed this ability to send back the consciousness of people. And what they do is they target people that are supposed to be dying, and what they do is they override their consciousness in the 21st century. So they don't necessarily travel back in time, they only send the consciousness back in time. And it's been interesting. It's been interesting. I don't think there's another way to describe it. And it's been pretty compelling so far. I mean, it's been enjoyable for sure. I can't deny that. I mean, it's only been like 2 days and I've already burnt through the first and second season pretty much. I have like 2 more episodes of the second season. And I pretty much spent my entire weekend just sitting at my desk watching it. My wife, however, she is in the kitchen right now. And she has been doing nothing but cooking food all weekend. Not food that we can eat. See, my wife, she would prefer if we celebrated stuff, but I told her when I met her that I don't. And I'm not going to change. It's going to stay that way. And we agreed that it was fine. And but she likes the dinner part. I don't mind the dinner part either. If the celebration, I told her that if she wants to call it Christmas, fine. Like in the future or whatever. If we had family and she wanted to call it Christmas dinner, I'm perfectly fine with that. But that's all it is. It's just dinner. There's nothing else. Do I like Stranger Things? Yeah, I do. I like Stranger Things. I'm not a huge fan of it though. Like, I watched it all, and yeah, I enjoyed the show, but I don't really talk about it much, because I didn't think it was like mind-blowingly good or anything. It was certainly enjoyable. It just, you know, it didn't blow me away. If a part of the drawing just not coming together, do you ever get to the point where the rest is okay, so you dispense with the reference photo and you just use your artistry to make the awkward parts feasible? I would say that that's a tough question. That's a good question, but that's a tough one. I can't really say that I get like one part like perfectly right and another part is just not working or not coming together the way that I want it to, and then I just make something up. What I would say is more likely is that if I get one part that I feel is good, I try to mimic what the quality about it that makes it look good in other parts. So for instance, if I can't get these arms to look the way that the reference photo looks, then what I'll do is I'll just try to make them match the drawing or whatnot. Hi, I'm now on Patreon. Oh wow, thank you so much, Mark. Yes, I just got the email. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. Do I always stick 100% to the reference photo? Oh, absolutely not. I would say I'm closer to 100% not sticking to the reference photo. I'm already off the reference photo here. The shirt is not, the shirt here is not that color of blue, and the background does not look like this. So I've already deviated from the very beginning. I was deviating from the reference photo with this drawing. I'm just using the skin, basically. That's the pose, the skin, and shadows and stuff. That's the reference photo. I can't argue there. Yeah, the color of the shirt is radically different, and the background is as well. I think maybe the face is not. The face is pretty close to the reference photo, but I changed the nose. I did change the nose because I didn't like it. The model has one of those, like, the tip of her nose is kind of bulgy a little bit, and so she has a nice bridge, but then the tip actually like comes out a little bit. Not a lot. It's not drastic, but I don't like it. I like nice smooth noses, so that's what I gave her, a nice smooth nose. But other than that, it's pretty close to the reference photo. Yeah, I think that arm already looks better with a proper highlight on it now. There's two things that are really difficult in drawing and painting and all of that. The first thing is working in dark colors, and the second thing is working in really light colors, because both are hard to see those subtle changes, and getting those subtle changes correct is what makes all the difference between good and great. And it is just a constant struggle. It is just an endless battle between one subtle color and another. It never goes away. It never gets so easy that you can just do things without trying. I think that if it were to ever get that easy, where you can just kind of do it without trying, I'd probably quit, because it wouldn't be very fun then. This it came together rather well. Draw Hellboy as Santa. That would be interesting. I've never watched Hellboy before. Are they making a second one? I think I heard something about a second movie coming out, or maybe it already came out. I don't know. I never watched the first one. I have no idea what it's even about. Isn't it like it's a superhero movie, isn't it? Like, and Hellboy is like this like red demon looking creature thing. I have like a somewhat of a picture in my mind of what Hellboy looks like, but not entirely sure. I have the clearest picture. He has like horns that are like chopped off or something. I could be totally mistaken here. When I blend out with that blending stump, it always lightens my colors a lot. And I've been trying to get this shadow on the left arm over here to be the right value, because that's what I've been kind of struggling with the most, is maintaining the correct value in some of these areas. But it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I must say, I like where it's going. But I think I'm gonna call it a day. I've been streaming a little over an hour now. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's drawing journal. Just talked about a bunch of random stuff. Don't forget to go over to Christine's Facebook page, link in the description, and give her Facebook page a like. I guess that'll be my one Christmas present. I send it to her. Anyways, tomorrow I'll be finishing off the pastel painting of the winter landscape. Last week I did part 1. Tomorrow will be part 2. And that will be the last like YouTube free pastel tutorial. And then the following Tuesday, which I think will be, I think that'll be in the new year, won't it? I'm pretty sure it will be. Yeah, it'll be the 1st, won't it? Will next Tuesday be the 1st? I gotta check the calendar. I'm so bad with this stuff. Yeah, so New Year's Day will be the first pastel tutorial over on Patreon. Thank you again, Mark, for joining me on Patreon, by the way. Really appreciate that. And then what else? Thursday, I actually already posted the new tutorial for Thursday, colored pencils. We're going to be doing a portrait of a much darker complexion. I know I've had some requests to do darker skin. That's that struggle working with darker colors, but in actuality it's the same as just doing a normal portrait. Doing a portrait is doing a portrait, skin tone is skin tone. But otherwise, that's it. I do have, I am going to be, what is that tutorial? I'm doing another tutorial. I'm working on it. I already have the script written up and everything. Oh, I'll be doing a video, probably not for a couple weeks now, because my wife has all these days off and I can't work all day. But 5 ways to improve color pencil work. Keep an eye out for that tutorial. I'll probably be releasing it 1st or 2nd week of January. And I think that's pretty much all of the announcements, all of the updates. I hope that you guys have a fantastic holiday, whatever it is that you celebrate. I challenge you to have a better dinner than what I'm about to have, because, you know, my wife has just spent the last 2 days in the kitchen, so you're gonna have some real competition there. I'll probably take a picture of it and post it on my Facebook page, just to make everybody jealous, because they don't stand a chance. But and have, you know, a happy and safe New Year's, and I'll see you on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.